Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sights on Sinnoh, the Diamond and Pearl anime podcast. I'm joined once again by Greg. How are you?
Hello, I am well.
Nice. Always good. It's a
Yes.
nice, stable state of being.
Yes.
This week, we're jumping into episodes 42 and 43 of Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimension, as we're kind of catching up here to the end of the season, and we are going to find that someone on our team is not doing so well, unfortunately. In this first episode called Doc Brock, the blurb here reads, on the way to Celestic Town, Ash and his friends are camped at a mountain cabin. While Dawn trains and Ash snoozes, Brock goes down the mountain to visit a pharmacy. That leaves Ash and Dawn in charge of the Pokémon, and their first task is to give the Pokémon a shower.
Where do we start with this whole series of bad events? Okay, first of all, the number one rule in Pokemon, the number one rule is take a Pokemon with you because it's dangerous. And what does Brock do but leave all of his Pokemon behind?
Yep.
The number one rule.
Look, they're gonna miss shower time, clearly, if they don't go right now. That can't be postponed.
Doesn't like water.
Yeah.
What is Sudowoodo going to do in the shower? Nothing.
I'm guessing he polishes or something, so but we never see that.
Do that. You don't need to do that. You don't. Brock can do that when he gets back. Why were you leaving all of your partners at this in the hands of two apparently brain dead children?
Maybe he thought one of his Pokemon would be the adult, like Krogunk.
Krogunk only, when left alone, only stares in a mirror.
He does, that's true.
When left alone, Krogunk has no purpose other than staring at itself in a mirror.
Or any reflective purpose,
or
like we
any
saw...
reflective surface.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. You're out of medical supplies. This is a good reason for Brock to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good reason to leave all of your Pokemon behind. Right from the beginning, I'm like, this is dumb.
Right, it's like believable until it's like, oh, okay, I'll just leave everyone here for some reason.
And then they're like, we have to go through the chores, and the first thing up is a shower.
Mm-hmm. Also, why are they in the cabin?
Why are they in the cabin? Why is the first thing up a shower? Like, whatever. So then they have like this long line of everybody getting the shower, and then they do the thing where Swinub doesn't like water, so you brush Swinub off. You didn't need to bring Sudowoodo. You didn't even mention Sudowoodo, who is like non-existent, who just left. It's like, well, Brock's gonna go stand in the forest for some unknown reason, and then Ash is like, I turned the. Okay, first of all, you do not bathe anybody with pure hot water. You don't just turn on the hot tap. You have a mixture of both.
Right.
And why did you keep turning it off between every... So they set up this
a system
thing where they spray Patricia with cold water. And Patricia's like mad about it, which I would be too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're spraying me with cold water for no apparent reason, because you cannot figure out how a shower works.
I'm surprised he didn't shock anyone. Like, we see all these sparks, but...
Yeah, I mean, it gets there, but that, of course, foreshadowing.
Right, and even Dawn's like, what are you doing?
Oh, God, Dawn is so annoying in this episode. They're both Ash and Dawn. Okay, Dawn, I could maybe see, like, this is your first journey.
Right.
Literally, Ash, you're like 57 years old at this point. You have been with Brock for, okay, this is season 11. 11 years, essentially. and you
Right.
don't know the you don't know the basics. You don't know the basics.
Yeah, like, it's very odd
It just
that this is the first time this seems to ever have come up.
ever, ever. You have taken care of Pikachu forever,
Mhm.
forever. I hate it when they just make, for plot reasons, characters lose all their intelligence and experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like for both of these characters, they decided to say, well, they know nothing now. Nothing.
Yeah.
Forget that Dawn's a stylist. Forget that they like Dawn. Whole thing is about making her Pokemon look good. She doesn't know how to do a
Mhm.
shower. Forget that they've at some point had to cook for themselves. So Dawn has to make this pancake breakfast, which they seem to like,
Mhm.
but it's like this huge. It's like all of these very common things that I guarantee you had to do, and you've even had fights about earlier about how Ash didn't help set up camp.
Right, yeah.
You've just chucked all of this out the window for no reason. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I don't care if it's just like, oh, this is a lot of work. Like, that'd be one
Mhm.
thing, but they just keep pretending like this is a lot of work that we have never ever done before, and I can't believe Brock made like there's no way that Brock does all of this on his own. None.
Right, and, like, at some level, I would see them n kind of realizing the absence of Brock doing things that are more subtle, as, like, the Pokemon are, like, don't like exactly how they do it because Brock does it a specific way that is very, like, very much in sync with what each individual Pokemon is used to for food or shower or something. But like, yeah, with Dawn, she makes poffins. I feel like poffins are
But
way more
yeah,
complicated than
like
pancakes.
pancakes.
Hmm.
Like have a whole recipe for puffins that you learned from your mom.
Yeah.
And then Patrito gets sick, and it's heavily implied that it's either the food or the brief contact with cold water. None of that is a thing. And then they're like, "Oh, put ice on its head, but then also cover it with 50 blankets." Well, which is it?
Hmm.
Are you trying to cool them off to break the fever, or are you trying to
Yeah.
heat them up? Like, what are you trying to do? And
Right.
then Gliscor, being intelligent, is like, "Hey, send me after Brock." And Ash, again,
Right. After
dumb
after they try sending Staravia, and Staravia just like
dumb as a
goes
box of rocks,
MIA.
is like, "Oh, we'll send Staravia off." Like,
Hmm.
Gliscor's there with the idea, eager, and
Yeah.
and Ash is like, "Hey, Staravia, why don't you go?" Like, Ash, why are you written so poorly? And then they're like, "Okay, let's go find orange berries because I heard those help." And they find
Hmm.
blue apples. What are blue
Yeah.
apples?
That look like oranberries.
And then you feel up Sudowoodo in the woods because you think it's a tree looking for berries, and just what is going on?
Uh huh.
Meanwhile, Team Rocket finds a Zapdos, and that's not the focus of the episode. They find a Zapdos.
Hey, in the last season, they found the Suicune, and that did absolutely nothing. So this is more believable.
And they're like, shoot it with the gum bazooka, the gum bazooka.
Yeah,
And
the one that they
instead,
used basically to get Pachirisu earlier, and then
yeah.
disappeared.
And they're like, oh hey, we got Staravia.
Yeah,
But they
and then they can't find it.
somehow they know it's Ash's Staravia.
Yeah, right? They like say we got Staravia, but not like a Staravia.
Right. And so anyway, Staravia crashes because it's been hit by gum. And then they're like, well, we
Mm.
don't know what to do. And then
That's when
Ash is
Ash is
like,
like, mhm.
gee, Staravia hasn't come back. I wonder if I should turn to the Pokemon that had the idea to do this, Gliscor.
Mhm.
And then we get the comedy of Gliscor not being able to actually fly, which, okay.
Hey, it's accurate though. It can only
It
glide.
is. It can only glide, but even gliders have better aim. And then
That's
They're
fair.
like, Cut to the market, and Brock's like, everything I need except for the Pokemon to save me from being attacked in the woods.
I'm gonna get mugged on the way back.
I have no way of protecting myself because I decided to leave everything
Okay,
with children.
so during the Pokemon Camp arc, he does run into random wild Pokemon as they're like going through the woods in the middle at night, and he just has Pokemon food to give them and like distract them as he gets away. So maybe that's what he's counting on. I'm just saying, we've seen a one potential avenue for him to escape, but it's very odd
It's
in this
very
scenario that,
odd. And
yeah.
then he literally gets murdered by Gliscor.
Yeah, it flies in and it's like, hey, you're Ash's Gliscor.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how did
Huh.
Team Rocket immediately know Staravia was Ash's, and Brock, who has traveled with him, is like, hey, you
Mhm.
look familiar. Oh, you must be Ash's Gliscor. Like, pull out a Pokedex. Pull out some.
Pull out like a food that it likes, and I don't know.
Anything. Anything.
Uh, and then Ash tries to go make some ice to cool down Pachirisu by filling a bucket and then having Baniri hit it with Ice Beam and then Happini break it down with its strength, like pound basically. Um, why not just have Baniri use Ice Beam and like make
Like,
the ice?
I don't know. Because
Happini had to do something this episode.
I guess. I mean, whatever. I don't know why they needed the bucket of water because Happy can literally freeze anything into anything that can be smashed. And then finally, Don's like, "Oh, when I was sick, I was forced to eat mashed fruit."
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Don. And they're like,
Like,
"Oh, there's that weird. There's the weird blue apples we found, which
so
is
let's.
let's
Mhm.
force feed it that." And then Brock runs in and is like, "Idiots, stop! The adult is here." Hey, you
Right,
remember when Pikachu was super, super sick and had these exact same
symptoms.
symptoms, and you were so worried, an event that would probably be forever burned in your mind? Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't bother to recognize it in Pachirisu. So now
right.
we're just gonna like get rid of some of the voltage.
Yeah, and that's to me one of the most frustrating aspects is they even specifically acknowledge that experience.
Yeah, like how did he forget that? Like
Yeah,
that was traumatizing because Pikachu was super sick.
they spent like 2.5 episodes dealing with that
I know.
too.
Oh my god. And so then
Uh,
they're like, "This we're gonna
mhm.
regulate its
Well, before
electricity."
that, Gliscor does run into Brock as we mentioned, and
Yeah.
it can't climb back up.
It
So,
can't fly back up,
right.
and
Eh,
you have a Pokemon that literally can't move
mhm.
on its own, and Brock tries to catch it, and that's the second time Brock is killed because he's like, "Hop on my back." Oh, you've crushed all the bones in my body,
Yeah, and probably all the medicine in my bag.
and I'm just now. Sorry, I'm gonna leave you here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you behind because I have to go help the. I have to go help the children.
So poor Gliscor is left behind because, again, cannot fly on its own, needs some air support. And yeah, Brock finally makes it back, and he kind of diagnoses pretty quickly that it's possible that Pachirisu's dealing with an electricity buildup, is what he calls it. And again, that's where we get that memory of Ash having this exact experience with Pikachu all the way back in Hoenn. He then pulls out like a device to kind of diffuse some of the electricity.
Yeah.
I don't know where he got that from, but
No,
like
he bought it at the market.
I guess somehow knew that he needed it. And
I
he
mean,
uses that
he
on
would have been like,
Pachirisu's
"Hey,
tail.
this could happen to Pikachu again, so I'm gonna be like
Mhm.
prepared." Unlike Pikachu's trainer, Ash.
Right. And what's funny about that? Brock wasn't there for when that happened to Pikachu. So I maybe him and Brock never talked about it, but I feel
But
like when they got back together, it might have come up.
it should have come up. Like,
Hmm.
also, he's like Dr. Brock. Like, I'm sure he's heard of it.
Yeah.
They just sort of skip over all of that stuff. And then
Right.
Patrice like, "Yay, I'm back to normal." And he's like, "Oh, you have to feed an orangeberry first and then mash fruit because that's a thing."
Yeah, like mashed fruit is just nutrition, but orangeberries magically heal your HP
Yeah.
because you're going by
And
the game
then
mechanics for that situation.
Dawn literally freaks out for no reason.
She's very hard on herself, and she was also like this in one of the previous 2 episodes. So again, I don't know why they make her act like this for some reason. Like this should not be where she is this late in the series.
No. I mean, she can be nervous, but like she has a
Mhm.
full on meltdown.
Yeah.
Like a full on meltdown.
Everyone's like, "Hey, it's okay. Don't cry. Don't cry." And like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be. Like this isn't like this isn't a life or death situation here."
It's a fever. It's a
Uh-huh.
fever.
Right. Like, were you in the hospital, Dawn, when you had a
Yeah.
fever?
Like, gee, mini. I was in the hospital when I had a fever, but like that was a very specific case.
um, and then Brock's like, "Hey, well, you actually have to go find oranberries in spots that are more fertile and wet, or like where the ground is moist, basically." So he
And
leads
there's
them.
magically 2 feet over a damper
Yeah,
area. Like literally 2 feet. Like dry, completely
wet.
damp.
Yeah. I mean,
What? Uh,
it's a big scene change, so like maybe they went running for 5 minutes, but the fact that they ran over doesn't seem like they took their time and looked for it, because otherwise they're just running a long distance for no reason. So yeah, it seems like they just it's like, oh no, 20 feet away. They're like, oh, there they are.
There they are. We could have. Man.
And
Okay.
like if maybe the river that we see later is there, I would have forgiven that more.
Right.
Because that explains how close they are to where Staravia ends up after being hit, and also why this area is moist. But they don't even do that. So we cut back to the cabin where,
Cabin, and they're all celebrating.
yeah,
Me,
Dawn uses the orange berries to like chop them up and make mashed fruit that way.
right?
Which is like, wait, what's
how
the point?
how is this different?
Staravia is by the river struggling to.
Again, Ash could care less where Staravia is.
Or Gliscor!
Does not ask about either of the 2 Pokemon
Yeah.
sent away to find Brock, who is now back. Not
Look.
not a care in the world.
Pachirisu sells merchandise. Staravia and Gliscor, nuh-uh.
And
Clearly.
then Staravia's like, well, I guess I'm gonna die because I
Right.
can't fly. And Woopers are like, well, we're gonna murder you. Just kidding. We're gonna help melt this off.
It's see, Johto Pokemon do save the day sometimes.
Sometimes.
They melted off with water gun, which I was like, oh,
Oh, okay.
that's convenient, I
Could have
guess.
just dipped your wing in the river then?
Right? Yeah, like why did you just do that?
The river's right there.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
And so then they're
jeez.
all happy that Pachirisu fine, and they're dancing in the open window. Which, again, were you trying to keep Pachirisu warm or cold?
Make up your mind.
What was your plan?
Mm-hmm.
And then Team Rocket's like, "Hey, we can't find Staravia, but we found the cabin.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna bazooka net Pachirisu."
Right. Like Pachirisu's easy target standing basically at the windowsill, so they just grab it.
And then Staravia comes back, and everybody's like, "Oh, where have you been? Never mind, get to work."
Yeah. Ash is immediately like, "Are you injured at all? Like, where have you? What happened?
What happened? Apparently, you were just having a great day in the forest. Go free.
He says, "Staravia, you came back just in time."
Time. I forgot I sent you somewhere.
Right. Like, what? It took you this long to know this?
And then they free Pachirisu, and then they're like, "Okay, Pachirisu, even though you just had to discharge electricity, don't do anything because you're still recovering." Like,
yeah,
no,
like
you kind of need to do that. So then, Banir, in another thing, like the Gliscor moment before, Pachirisu is like, "Put me in," and Don's like, "Hey, Baniri, do you want to freeze him?"
Right. Like, Listen to your Pokemon.
And this is after another bazooka wad that is
Hmm.
shot back by Staravia's wings
Hmm.
to get them stuck in the balloon. And then they get frozen. And then finally, Don's like, oh, maybe I should use Pachirisu, who seems A, completely fine, and B, should probably get rid of this excess electricity. You know, the source
Right.
of the problem.
This is also after they're not only frozen, she sends Baniri to use Dizzy Punch on the ice. Like,
To,
what's your
why?
goal?
To chop them out? I don't...
Yeah.
And then, of course, electricity makes them explode.
Right. So Pachirisu at the end is fine, I guess, now.
Yeah, and then Brock's like, well, this could happen again, so even though it's been 11 seasons, maybe I should teach you some stuff.
Yeah. So
how is
again,
first aid not part of the professor's beginning spiel? Here's your Pokemon. Here's basic care.
apparently it's cheaper to fund all these Pokemon centers than to train trainers.
This episode hurt my soul.
Yeah, it.
And then at the very end, Ash is like, oh, hey, where's Gliscor?
Like, we forgot Gliscor, he says.
No, we didn't. You did. And Gliscor is literally 50 miles away, sobbing. Like, they show face in the
tears
dirt.
in its eyes.
Tears in its eyes. This is how little Ash cares for this Pokemon. Revoke his license.
Take away his badges. That's the end. That's episode 42, Doc Brock. The Japanese title is basically
dies.
Pachirisu has a fever. 2 people taking care! ! Question mark. Yeah.
Question mark. It should just be question mark.
They randomly use music from Spell of the Unknown. So the third movie, Rise of Giratina, or Rise of Darkrai, and the Pokemon Symphonic Medley. So there's some bangers in here for a really not great episode. This is the first episode to air in Japan after the earliest release of Pokemon Platinum in Japan and Taiwan. Apparently they say Team Rocket seeing Zapdos from their balloon may be a reference to Pokemon Platinum, in which all 3 legendary birds can be roaming Sinnoh. And again, they just reference that Pachirisu's electricity buildup is similar to Pikachu's from the Hoenn region. And that's kind of it. So, final thoughts, Greg.
I mean, it could have been an okay filler episode if they just didn't decide to regress the main characters back for pure plot reasons. It's my number one irritation in TV shows.
Yeah.
When characters are just portrayed a new way for plot's sake. Not like
any of like the experience that they should have or knowledge is just gone for some reason.
Because they needed to tell the story, and it's a filler story. Like, it didn't even do anything.
Like, nothing happens. No one goes further than what we've seen. At most, they go to like the baseline at where we saw them last time.
Yeah, and like even the Team Rocket plot points were so by the numbers. That they weren't even interesting. They didn't do anything other than exactly it was such a by the number episode.
I thought for some reason I was trying to remember if this was a thing or not, but like a gag where they run into all 3 legendary birds, but then they decide like, no, we can't go after them. We need to focus on Pikachu. But that I don't know where I'm getting that idea from, but I thought that would have been somewhat entertaining for this episode.
Given them like it would have been entertaining, other than literally what was happening,
right?
Which was just bizarre. And then like they were firing at Zapdos and hit Staravia. They didn't even know it was just an accident.
Yeah.
Like
I love
nothing,
coincidences.
nothing they did was deliberate.
Except go for this Pachirisu after like
Right.
all day looking for the
All day saying
heroes.
they're gonna find Pikachu, who was clearly visible in the window.
Yeah. Well, what's your rating for Doc Brock?
2.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2 also.
Just not good. It's just frustrating.
It's an episode that, like, in theory has potential,
Yeah. And
but they just lower the aptitude and the stakes
it could
to
have
where it
been
doesn't matter.
so cool if
Hmm.
they showed Ash and Dawn stepping up in
Yeah,
Brock's absence.
right.
Like really stepping up and being like, these are the things we've learned from Brock, and Brock coming in and
Hmm.
filling in the finer details, like so
Yeah, that
good
would be
that you did
nice.
this, you did great. Instead, it was just bicker children who don't know how to work water.
Hmm. Like it would be nice if we see a montage of them doing all their all their normal responsibilities just fine, like even proficient, and then being like, oh, like let's try to remember what Brock usually does and see if we can help him there. Like,
Yes.
rather than be like, okay, we'll just do it. Be like, hey, let's try to like help Brock while he's not here because he does so much for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what could have been, unfortunately. So not a
Nope.
lot we can do with lingering in the
Mm-mm.
past, except for this next episode, which is all about the past, called "Battling the Generation Gap."
It should be called 30-something adult decides to terrorize former rivals 10-year-old child.
20 years ago, Dawn's mom, Johanna, lost a Pokemon contest to Lila of Celestic Town. The battle ended Johanna's winning streak, but Lila quit contest and became a top Poke stylist. Now that Dawn and her friends are in Celestic Town, she and Brock visit Lila's store, but learn that Lila is out. So, what did you think about this intro here, where we see a young Johanna battling the soon-to-be revealed Lila?
I mean, it's cool to see Joanna in her prime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was nice to see, like, oh yeah, like her mom was really good
Mm-hmm. We
and
finally see her
competent.
Glamio do something.
Yeah, and they were capable,
Yeah.
and like it was a cute little battle. Like
Mm.
I don't quite understand how Delcatty perfectly slid into Glammeow's tail, but
It's a skinny
okay.
cat.
And then you just it's good background. I will give it that. And then the Jan's like, "Yep, that's what happened. Go visit her in her shop in town."
Yeah, like
Okay.
we learned that it's Johanna telling this to Dawn through the Pokemon Center video conference device, which never really gets a name. Uh,
Right.
but again, Brock has no idea who she is, and we don't either because
Right.
she's never been
Because
introduced.
never been mentioned before, except in the beginning.
Right. And that's where I'm like, she should have come up for that Heart Home contest that we saw.
Yeah.
It's all about the top stylists, and she just doesn't get mentioned until here.
Nope.
So kind of
Nope.
weird. She
You
does have a nice outfit though.
had a stylist competition, and
Hmm.
just nobody mentioned nobody mentioned the name.
I kind of wish this had happened before that episode, actually.
It would have been better,
Hmm.
but I mean, fine.
Yeah, to like introduce and lead up to Poke Stylist and maybe give us a
Yeah.
better idea of what they actually do would be neat. Before Dawn kind of peaks by being offered this career opportunity that she turns down instead.
Yeah. Like the same, like it would have been nice to have like that parallel, and they kind of do the parallel a little bit. It's just
it just lacks that kind of momentum behind it that I think really could have set it up to be a nice episode.
So far apart, those two.
Yeah,
you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And Ash is still trying to figure out how to stop hypnosis. Look, it's 3 to 5 turns. You'll wake up, or I don't know. Chesto Resto is the thing. Or Lumberry. Like, these are not hard puzzles, Ash.
What's funny is that in Hoenn, I think he actually helped someone find a Slackoth and evolve it into a Vigoroth. Do you know why that's relevant, actually?
Because Vigoroth has one that doesn't let it put it to sleep.
Right, it has a vital spirit, so it can't be
put to sleep.
Exactly.
But like,
so he's had some idea of that.
You have, the berries exist. You've been making poppins with them. You went to an entire farm with a roserade protecting it. Like, you're not like, get it together. And then they go to Lila's shop, and she's like, "Oh, she's not there." But look at all these great things, like Wallace's incredible outfit.
Right? Like,
Lila, why do you have it? Did you?
Well, she made it.
Did you make 2?
Probably. She's probably made multiple for him.
Like,
because it's his stage costume
outfit to be like, I'm going to put one up in my shop.
Well, that isn't the outfit he's using now. This is the outfit that Wallace used when he won as a top coordinator.
So did he give it back?
Maybe it's like
that's gross.
Maybe it's a replica, or it could be like for a fashion show. If you think of it like that, where they make something for it specifically, but you only wear it for that, like a wedding gown or something.
Yeah, and then Don's like, "It's Lila here," and they're like, "Nope, she's out all day."
Yeah, your mom didn't call and tell her apparently.
And then
your daughter is visiting.
They start the weird running joke of every time Ash talks about trying to figure out how to deal with hypnosis, they all fall asleep because it's so boring.
They started that in the last episode, actually, but it's so forgettable.
It's so not funny. It's just weird.
Yeah. It's yeah.
And
I
then
don't know.
They do this weird jump cut to suddenly they're in the contest hall. Like they go.
Yeah, they're like training outside, and then they're like, "Oh, we're here
at the shop." Then Ash falls asleep, and then suddenly they're all in the contest area, and I'm like, "Whoa." What?
She's like, geez.
Okay, we're here with the 3 worst judges. I also do you think that like when the contest is happening, do they just tell everybody in the area, "Hey, Pokemon Center's closed for the next 4 hours"? Because the only person that knows how to work this stuff is going to be judging a contest.
They probably have Chansey running things.
We've seen Chansey unable to run that place on their own multiple times.
Have we?
Multiple times.
What I remember seeing in Unova is and we saw this in Johto actually. When they get to like the first town, there's a digital sign that says like, "Hi, I'm not here right now, but I'll be back at this time."
Hope you're
recorded by Nurse Joy.
Hope your Pokemon's not in horrible shape.
Yeah.
Because
hope it's not on the verge of death.
We've seen Chansey decide that double slap is a cure. So then like Dawn can't fix her hair. I'm like, why?
She's having a weird wardrobe malfunction with one of her hair buns.
Why and how?
Maybe because she has some new bow things or scrunchies.
Okay.
And she's just not used to him. That's all I can think of here. Because she does have this like fluffy motif going on to kind of match Baneri.
Matching Baneri, which is very cute.
Yeah. But the struggle is real for her, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm having all this hair problem." And then we see a lady in a suit like tell some person behind her, "Hey, hurry up!" And then we see Lila standing in the doorway saying, "I told him I didn't want to do any work today."
And then she literally runs in without saying a word, and forcibly fixes Dawn's hair.
Yeah,
like runs in, doesn't say anything, fixes her hair, then pulls on her sunglasses and says, recognizes Dawn, and the woman comes in and drags her out, and Dawn's like,
What just happened?
What just happened? Who was this weird lady that just
I
came
think she knew.
in
Well, she knew.
and pulled
Like she
on my
says.
hair? Oh, it's Lila.
Oh, okay.
That is
Yeah, because she stands up and looks at the mirror first. Yeah.
That is creepy.
Like if they had known.
If you were sitting in a bathroom and I walked in and played with your hair and never said a word to you, even though you've seen my face, you would still be like, that is creepy. Do not do that. That is what a creepy person does.
It kind of has a vibe of like someone's aunt or godmother or something.
They've never met.
Exactly.
They've never met. I'm like, that is just creepy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go in and touch somebody you don't know. Without at least saying, hi, I'm a friend of your mom's. I'm Lila. Can I help?
Yeah. Like something.
Like stranger danger, dude. Anyways,
and
Don's perfectly fine with it because
yeah,
it's Lila, a person
right.
you've not yet met.
Yeah. Lila has even like the weird creepy hand, like she's sneaking into the room when she does that.
Yeah, it's just weird. I'm like, please stop.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the performances.
Right. We see that this is a special contest because Lila is apparently participating in it, and she has a cool dress on and starts off with a cherub, and Dawn's like, what? Like competing against Lila?
Yeah, like what is happening? Also, I will say this: I had forgotten that in the folded up form, cherub's eyes are that low. So when it opened its eyes and its mouth on what I thought was its butt, I was like, what is happening? Because all the descriptions, its eyes are closed. And when they opened it up, I'm like, what?
Right,
Also,
what's going on there?
Why is there no Sunny Day to change forms? This one can just change forms. It uses Sunny Days later. But like that's
yeah.
Whatever.
It's like there's just a whole lot of things there that don't add up. But Ash pulls out the Pokédex
and
to
they
scan it.
Like bless Bulbapedia for saying thanks to the bright stage light, it opens up.
Yeah.
Good Phil. Good guess. That's why it went into
save the day, Bulbapedia.
Way to fill that in. Ash doesn't know what the heck that is, and everyone's like, ooh. Yeah. But I will say, like, of the performances they've done, I would actually have been impressed by Lila's. Because they actually made really cool pictures and did really cool things. Unlike literally what everybody else does is like, I'm going to make some smuts on the floor and dance in it. Like
right, she makes like a firework out of these leaves,
like a beautiful green flower firework, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
and well, I should say it's remarkable.
I
hate that dude so much.
He needs to go for sure. It's really nice because it's just 2 moves.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh whoa, that's really pretty and
really
impressive.
And then Jesselina's there dressed as Fantina.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know why?
Huh? What? Did we miss
in the previous
Did we miss usually they take an entire time of her arguing with everybody. So literally I thought, oh, she's not coming for this one.
Oh yeah.
Because you were not even talking about it last episode where you're chasing a Zapdos, and suddenly you're in a full Fantina outfit, which you look good in, but you did. It was the weirdest. It was the same weird jump cut. Like, oh, suddenly we're in the contest hall. Oh, and suddenly Jesse's here. Okay.
Right. It feels like there was something cut.
It feels
clearly
like
between.
I mean, it was good outfit.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you're pulling
like
it
amazing
off.
cosplay girl.
they do the way they stiff body throw her in the air. Like, I just thought that like they just took a cutout and flipped it because she moves
Uh-huh.
in no way. Nothing. Her hair doesn't move. Her body, her skirt doesn't
Yeah.
move. She just literally full blocked into the air,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay.
It's
And it's the same. It's the same thing you did with Sussex. Like,
yeah.
get into it.
Nothing original here.
Nothing urgent. And they're all like, okay, great,
The
thanks.
reason she's doing that is because she wants to be like a lot like Fantina, who you met 2 episodes ago.
Mhm.
And everyone on her team's like, girl, like you can't teach Mega
No,
any of those moves
no,
or do anything.
right.
But she's
Also,
determined. Mhm.
is this the first time they've shown contest people drinking it up backstage?
Oh.
Because
Uh
literally while they're watching Lila, there's a woman in front with a giant glass of red wine, and later, literally Jessie has a martini.
do they
Literally has a
what?
martini in her hand.
I did not notice this.
I'm like, what is happening? Like, they have never shown adults drinking
Mhm.
this hardcore. Like, the woman is standing in Dawn's eyesight with a giant glass of red wine. And I stared at that and went, what is happening? And then Dawn comes on and does her cute little thing, and literally Beniri almost ruins it. But Dawn saves it. It is a very cute moment.
Mhm.
Very proud of them both. I don't know why making a skate ramp out of ice is a thing that people are impressed by, but sure.
Well, she also skates on her ears.
Skates on her ears and dizzy punches on her ears
Yeah, I don't know why you need the dizzy punch.
because it makes it sparkle.
I guess it
And
gives the
then Beniri's like way out of control,
uh-huh.
but Dawn catches it. Like, good on you. Good on you for making good on a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she makes a quick recovery and she's like holding Beniri in the air. So it's like, all right, smile. Which is fun.
Which is cute. It was a good save.
Uh-huh.
Good job. Way like instead of falling apart,
Mm-hmm.
way to like hold her own.
Yeah,
I
she kept
was
her
like,
composure.
nice job.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. That was well done.
Right. We definitely see a more confident Dawn here than we have, especially leading up to the Wallace Cup when she was still recovering from her
Right.
2 consecutive losses. So good on Dawn for sure. And she's backstage. She's like, "Oh yeah, I messed up a
Yeah.
little, but yeah, no worry.
But yeah, we
You
pulled it out, and
uh-huh.
then Jesse's like having a martini and
Oh,
finds out
this is the
she's not
moment.
in the
Okay.
finds out she's not in there and falls backwards with her martini.
Well, this is actually where she runs into Lila talking with Johanna.
Right. Also, there's a whole conversation that they should have had long before this.
Yeah. And apparently, I think this is the first time we have seen contest halls that have it. It's just weird that it looks like it's backstage for some reason. The like
Yeah,
phone booth.
it's backstage and in like a closet.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just a brick wall.
Right.
It's just a big old brick wall back there.
But this is where kind of Lila explains their backstory again, that even though Johanna lost, she still felt really energized and motivated to keep going forward, while Lila actually felt like she was having second doubts about being a coordinator and
Right.
asked Johanna for advice on what she should do.
And
And
Joanna, not
Johanna,
at all selfishly, was like, "No, yeah, give up on
right?
this dream. Let
It's
me
like,
win."
it's like, hey, less competition for me. This is the only person that's beat me, so if they're gone, this is easy.
If they're gone, I'm
Yeah.
in.
But I honestly, I do feel like it's a kind of cute moment that to be like, hey, I beat you, but I think you could still give me advice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good moment to show that they had a strong friendship, which almost makes up for the fact that you
Mhm.
broke into Dawn's
Changing room, dressing
changing
room.
room and fixed her hair for her without asking.
Right. And And she explains, this is Lila's kind of acting a little like someone who knows internet celebrities.
Right.
Because she's like, yeah, Don, you inspired me to do this, actually. It's like, oh, okay, this is a very...
Yeah, I was watching you be a stylist, and I thought, oh, heck no, I need to put this 10-year-old down. The daughter of my old rival cannot be better than me, so I'm going to enter the circuit again.
No,
And also,
uh-huh.
do ribbons never...
Yeah, like
Do ribbons never is not a yearly thing? If you've
lifetime.
ever won 5, you can go to the grand festival. They never reset. They never. I won 4, and 20 years later, I'm coming back to get my 5th. What?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Ash can go back to Kanto and fight the Luke for forever because he's got the badges. He can go to any region because they never expire. Just weird.
Okay, I will say, I think that when you actually enter, at least the Pokemon League with the badges, those badges no longer are recognized, like they've been used. But okay, but during that flashback where we see Lila getting inspired, she's actually looking at Dawn at the Wallace Cup.
Right.
I feel like she would have watched the Stylist contest, though.
Yeah, it feels weird that it wasn't. Yeah. That was
Oh yeah, I see the red wine and
giant glass of red
why? It's like a
Giant-
goblet.
it is a bottle of wine poured into a goblet. This person is backstage, literally wasted.
That's fascinating.
Wasted. I sat there and looked at that. I'm like, what is happening? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I can freeze it on Jesse's martini. Yeah, it's a good conversation. Like it's actually a pretty like they have a good conversation. Although I thought it was wild that ribbons never go out of style.
Right, they're just recognized by the contest association forever, apparently. Which just doesn't make sense because it's a competition at the end. And
right, like that should reset. That shouldn't be. Just like, okay, I don't understand.
That's why. Yeah.
I don't get what's happening, but whatever. Okay, cool.
She does end up coming to like the conclusion that she wants to reinvigorate her kind of youthful spirit by battling Johanna's daughter.
Right. I am going to smack down the daughter of my only rival because she dared to be a stylist better than me and win the Wallace Cup. So I'm here 20 years later to finish the job of humiliating your family.
But I will fix her hair first.
I will fix your hair first.
So victory will be ever sweeter as vengeance.
Because I can show you how better I am at doing not only your hair, but contests. All right, here comes Jesse's martini. And I forgot there is also a giant bottle of wine. I'm assuming empty.
Oh,
right behind her.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at this. They are hammered backstage. They are hammered. They are drunk out of their minds. And Squirtle and a member of the Squirtle squad has shown up.
No, that's Wobbuffet.
To get them drunk.
Hey, this shows and proves that contests are all ages events.
All ages events. Wild things happen behind the contest. This should be another series, Diamond and Pearl, Secrets of the Backstage.
Yeah.
All right, so Jessie doesn't get in and spills her drink.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, she's lit at that point, so it couldn't have hit that hard.
Yeah, she wasn't going to go anywhere after that.
She wasn't going to go anywhere after that. She's drunk. Everybody back there was drunk, except for the people who won.
Right.
And then
the montage.
Then there's the montage of what's going to automatically happen. The 30-something woman is going to beat down the daughter of her rival because we know that's what has to happen.
Yeah, we get Delcatty, or what's her name? Shoot. Lila. Lila's Delcatty beating a Dawn fan. And Bipom being a Delibird. I like Delibird, so it's kind of sad.
Get wrecked, Delibird.
And then she just fries a Crawdont in her second match with Delcatty's Shockwave.
Yep.
And Ambipom has a cool like little montage as it beats up a nose bath.
Yeah. Wrecks that nose pass.
I think
Get
it's
out. You will not survive this montage.
I think it's hitting it with Swift, and it's the nose pass is using Sandstorm or something.
Yeah.
But it has a really cool effect to it. So I'll take it.
But so then it's Dawn versus Isla, and they actually have a very good Dawn moment.
Oh, okay.
This is a good Dawn moment of Dawn feeling herself freaking out, doing her negative self-talk, and then doing what she should do, correct her thought process, and allow herself to focus. Like, that is a really great moment. It's also a great moment for kids. Like, stop your negative thought process.
Yeah.
Focus on, okay, if I lose, I just train more and I go forward, and I'm going to give this my all. Like, that saves this wild episode.
Yeah.
That
this
is
should
such
be
a great moment for Dawn. It's such a great moment for this series.
This should definitely be one of Dawn's quotes. Like,
right.
If you find her on her any fan page, like this should be one of the quotes for her, which is, "If I lose, I can just train some more and try again."
Because
relax.
As it's proven, I could do this for 20 years. There's no limit on how long it takes to get these ribbons.
Yeah. It's like the most sensible we've seen some of these characters.
Right. And it's such a good growing up moment for Dawn, which makes episode before this Dawn even more frustrating.
Right. It's just like, why did you do this?
Right.
I did notice that for the battle part, she actually changed her hair back to her normal look.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Got more serious.
I guess, yeah.
Got more focused. It's, it's not about matching Baneri. It's about doing the battle the right way. It's good. It just shows her as a more grown character. I really liked this moment. And this battle is pretty good, although I'm like, okay, cute charm.
Oh, yeah.
This is the weirdest plot point. But fine. And that's also, it's an on again, off again.
It's not consistent.
It's plot convenience, cute charm, which how it feels in the game sometime too. So I can't really fault them for it.
It's realistic in a weird way. The battle starts off
really good battle, I think.
Like, I'm interested to hear that because I thought I was kind of mixed. Like, I liked moments, but as a whole, I wasn't super into it as much as I thought I'd be.
They do a lot of really good back and forth, and then a lot of Lila really coming down hard with experience. There's that whole middle section where Lila is just dominating. That is actually really good, because what that does, although it's not exciting to watch, when they go to Dawn, she is unfazed and harder. And that part was the underline of what happened before, which is why I really liked this battle. Because it is one-sided for a very long time, and normally they would cut to Dawn and she would be freaking out. But she is on it. She is thinking of ways out of this. She is determined. And it's like such a huge step for her character growth.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this is how these battles need to be. Like, this is truly very a one-sided battle for a long time. But she doesn't crumple for like the first time. She stopped herself at the beginning and is like, nope, I'm in it and I'm going to find my way out of it. And then she does turn it around. And it is really, like, they do some really beautiful things. Like, they make some great tableaus, which really shows off how contests should be. Like, using the Swift to make big swirls and then make big flowers, do all these things, and they do like they muck with the rules of how things work.
Yeah.
But I think it was so important to show Lila, who had years of experience, albeit rusty,
Mm-hmm.
was so dominating, and everybody knew, oh, you've fallen into this, and you fall into this, and these are the same traps that Dawn's mom
Yeah.
fell in. And
Mm-hmm.
Dawn normally would have collapsed, but the fact that she didn't and then fights back so hard and ultimately wins makes this one of the best battles they've shown so far. Because in
Okay.
that battle, Dawn grows not only at the beginning, but stays with it. Like you understand this is a permanent change in Dawn.
Right. Or at least we hope so. Because
Well,
as
they'll
it's on
undo
the
it. They'll undo it 2 episodes later because they can't write her consistently, which is super frustrating. But whatever. Like
Sure.
at this moment, you have a lot of hope, and she is justifiably surprised that she wins. And
Yeah.
who wouldn't be? That was a really tough battle, but she
Right.
didn't give up, and she won. And it's a really good payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you focused, you did what you had to do. It could have gone either way, but you didn't. You didn't give up, and you prevailed. Awesome. And even if you didn't prevail, you had the
Yeah.
right mindset. Like you literally did everything you could.
Mm-hmm.
They still did some weird things. Like I still don't know how Delcatty got wrapped up in Ambipom's tails without Ambipom knowing that Ambipom has complete control over those tails. I do not know how that happened.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I think it's again like we saw with the flashback
Right.
in the Glameow battle. It's just Delcatty apparently having some really good control,
Yep. And like
and speed.
Ambipom and Dawn not falling for the second substitute, like predicting that was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And like the determination of both trainers clearly being shown in the determination of both Pokemon. Like they did
Mm-hmm.
matching facial expressions. Like they packed so much growth
Yeah.
and entertainment in this one battle that they literally do nowhere else. Like this is what we want. This is the stuff that makes these battles interesting.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
Lila's like,
Mhm.
hey, come to my shop and literally pick out everything you want. And
yeah.
Brock and Ash
Oh god.
should be taken out back and removed from the show for picking the dumbest clothing ever.
Right.
They look so bad. And I'm like, just stop going to them. And Ambipom was put to sleep in the middle of the thing and got shocked awake. And then Ash is like, oh, I think I know how to deal with sleep.
Yeah, they have this weak connection. It makes no sense because especially knowing how Ash
Right.
does end up dealing with sleep, it was a weird parallel to make. That was kind of forced. But covering covering the battle a bit more, just some of the beats. Like we see Ambipom get hit by the Q charm and is infatuated, so it can't move. And then it gets hit by Sing, so it's like, oh, this is over if you're playing in like the games, basically.
Right.
It's able to wake up though, and power through and use double team to like Dawn's relief, and then is able to not only avoid getting hit by Sing again, but hits it with double hit. And the big climax is like a tornado of Swift stars versus Delcatty's Shockwave, right?
Delcatty's flower shockwave because it somehow forms a flower. But whatever.
Right. The
They
whole
have a lot
thing.
of, yeah.
The whole thing with Lila is like her attacks form flowers, and that's when she
Right.
does her tiger lily smile, which
Yeah,
is like her famous pose. What do you think about that whole thing?
I mean, Tiger Lily has a pretty bad history, so
Oh,
I
okay.
just decided to ignore
Oh, okay.
that
No.
and go, okay, we're just gonna ignore
Sure.
Tiger. We're just gonna ignore Tiger Lily. We're just gonna be like, okay, that's what they call it. It's certainly not offensive.
But that whole Shockwave Swift looks like a galaxy, basically, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because Tiger Lily is a flower.
Oh, it has another connotation. Okay.
Tiger Lily is an actual flower, but it's also got
Got it.
some history
Okay.
behind it too.
Good to know.
But I mean, overall, you can be like, "Oh,
Sure.
it's just a flower thing," and just be fine with it. And I was just like, "I'm just not gonna pay attention." It's like
Yeah.
fine. And I'm gonna ignore the fact that they really make it Japanesey. Um,
By the Japanese
it's fine.
company?
It's fine. Yeah, it's super Japanesey. They should have maybe picked a different name, but whatever. Because it's one of those things where it's like it's fine in Japanese because it doesn't have the connotation over there because it's not racist against their
Right.
own people like it is
I
sometimes in
see.
America. Uh, so like
Okay.
it's fine. Like I get it. It's a very Japanese thing. It's minor. It's not as bad as some of the other things they've done that were just unintentional. Like it's okay. It's still a little. It's just a
Sure.
little.
There
cringy.
is there's like a fat shaming episode 2 or 3 episodes before this, so this kind of pales to me in comparison, but
Yeah, it's not. It's not bad. It's not the worst
yeah.
thing they've ever done.
But
Like
going
they unintentionally stumble into terrible things.
right, just going back to Dawn for a sec, I, you describing it as the conflict more on the trainer level definitely elevates the battle to me because
Yeah.
pointing all that out, I can really see how Dawn is adapting so well
Yes.
during this battle.
Yes. It is really well done. I just think for what they need to do for as few times as they really like the thing is about learning and connecting and learning about yourself through battling and doing these things. And this is one of the moments when they really just hit it and said, this is how this goes. And
Yeah.
this is what we should show. And it's a huge payoff for all of the flashbacks that Donna's been having and all of the things that have plagued her. It's just really nice to see this big of a change, even if it's only for this episode, because they
Right.
tend to
wash it away.
wash it away when it's not convenient anymore. But like in this one, I was like, yes, this is how these should go.
And it's satisfying to see that it's Ambipom.
Yeah.
Because this is the Pokemon she traded, the one that like really cemented her loss streak when she was so confident.
Yep.
And like she used it for the Wallace Cup for the appeal round, but then switched to Piplup. So using it with this much like proficiency in the battle stage also shows that her relationship with Ambipom isn't damaged by that, and like it carries her to victory, which is awesome. So yeah, this is her getting her 3rd ribbon. Ash and Brock getting the worst outfits ever. And do we see what she picks actually?
She just holds that one dress forever.
Oh
before
yeah,
tries it on. I'm like, you're just not gonna try it on. You're just gonna hold it up,
right? Like, are we not going to see
assume-
this?
We assume that's the one you buy.
It looks like designer PJs. Like that's the vibe I get from those because I can't see someone wearing this in the daytime.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird outfit. Whatever.
Yeah.
They all make poor choices with one of the most famous stylists, and you can get anything.
Right.
And Wallace's outfit is right there. And
Yeah.
this is what you choose.
Oh, we could have seen like Brock and Wallace's outfit or something. That would be cool. I don't know why that sells all these things. Like we see all these Pokemon wearing accessories, which I guess you do that in the games, but what?
Yeah.
We saw you all wearing like dresses and stuff back in the Steamboat episode, so we know it's possible. But yeah, episode 43, battling the generation gap. What's your rating?
I'm gonna give it a solid 7. I think there's some weird pointless stuff that happens at the beginning, and there's some really weird cuts where you're like, whoa, how did we get here? But I think once they focus on the heart of the story, it is a really good story. Plus, everybody's drunk, which just benefits the entire everybody's drunk backstage. It is a wild party. Dawn's got a great life ahead of her.
Yeah, like when she gets drinking age, she can finally like get all this free stuff they're giving back here.
Get drunk like the lady in green who's like, I'm just here for the drinks. You don't even
Right?
get to see me perform.
Oh my
I'm
god,
just back here drinking.
that's the strategy. You just sign up for contests and like do bad, but you get all this free booze and drink at the
And
end.
like Jesse with a martini is iconic.
Do you want to tweet that out?
Iconic. With James giving her the shoulder rub in her Fantina outfit with a Squirtle Squad knockoff.
It's a whoop.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Wildfire is just holding that tray of hors d'oeuvres or something. The dub title for this episode is a reference to the phrase "bridging the generation gap." This episode marks the debut of a certain move. I don't know if you saw this trivia already, Greg, but if you haven't, can you guess what move it was? Apparently, it was used in the movie, but it hasn't been shown in the show proper.
Was it Substitute? It's the only thing I think of that they've not done before.
You nailed it. Yep, it's Substitute.
Because I'm like, Jigglypuff, Delcatty sings the Jigglypuff song. Nothing Ambipom did was original.
Right. And they use like...
Sandstorm.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And we've seen Iron Tail, of course,
Right.
and
Shockwave
everything else.
is nothing new.
Right, Glammy. Actually, Zoe's Glamio has that, so all these cats are just shocking, apparently.
So I'm like, what's the only thing? It has to be the Substitute. The invisibility spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7-2. It's just, at its core, it's a good episode with some other stuff that you don't really need, but it's completely ignorable and doesn't take away from the actual execution here.
Yeah,
which is
I
awesome.
think like they could have cut a lot from the beginning, all the weird jumping around, and you wouldn't have missed it. Like,
yeah,
there was no need to go to the store and find out she's not going to be there all day. There's no need to have Ash fall asleep outside. Like, all those cuts were really weird and does not do much to help the episode.
I kind of would have liked if they had started with the contest and then throughout they'd done flashbacks.
Yeah.
Some to Johanna and Lila and some to Dawn maybe, but mostly Johanna and Lila.
Yeah. That would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's a very solid episode.
Yeah. I think you saw the battle between May and Dawn, right?
Yep.
How would you compare these two as the final battle for her ribbon?
I think the thing with May, what made May different is that A, they were the same age. B, she didn't her family didn't have a history with this, and there wasn't such a perceived experience difference, right? Like they had been there all day, they knew what each other could do. That felt much more like a friendly rival than an obstacle for Dawn to meet, right?
Right. Yeah. Because this is very much presented like, hey, this is the person who beat my mom. And like, I'm not better than my mom, right?
Right.
So yeah, I definitely see that. I think what I liked that was laid out for the May battle is those inner monologues between both of them.
Yeah.
That we see executed here as well and show how Dawn is thinking and developing, which is great. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week as we kind of wrap up Dawn's third contest third contest win in battling the generation gap. So pretty much it for Sights and Sinnoh episode 56. I can't really think of a question of the week. So I mean, I guess if you had someone from maybe Ash's past that you'd like to see him battle their relative, who might it be?
Man, from Ash's past.
For me, it would be Janine, who is Koga's daughter, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I would. All right, does Ash fight Liza Wallace's niece?
Wallace's niece? What?
Yeah.
Wallace has a niece?
Yes. The Pokemon Contest superstar.
Oh, from Oras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Okay.
Eliza or Eliza? I don't remember.
I didn't know they were related, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's her niece. She's his niece. That's what I meant
Okay.
to say. Or is it Licia? I forget what.
Oh yeah, Alicia. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Alicia. That's it. I'm like all these Alcia names that they do.
Oh gosh, her
But yeah,
outfit
the
is.
super contest. She's super contest, and she is Wallace's niece.
Yeah, she's an idol in Hoenn.
Yep.
Her. Oh man, her overworld sprite looks so much better than her actual outfit.
She's great in Masters.
Oh, I forgot she's in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's
What does
great
she...
in Masters, and they really expand on the connection between her and Wallace too.
Oh, cool. That's nice. Yeah, because we don't even see them together, I think, in the game.
No, I don't even know that it's ever mentioned in the games.
Right.
But it is brought up many times in Masters.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They got the hair, they got the
Right.
blue, I guess.
It's a family trait.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Everyone wears blue in this family tree. But this has been another episode of Sights on Sinnoh, episode 56. If people want to find Greg on Twitter, that is White Wing.
Yep.
And I'm on Twitter as well. We'll be teasing with all the podcast episode updates. If you want to watch the show with us, you can do that on Pokemon.com for free and just check out everything that they have there. In terms of different seasons, like right now they have all of Sinnoh's seasons at the time of this recording. And they rotate through, so go ahead and check that out. And yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff if you have an answer to the question of the week, or just want to share your thoughts. We also like seeing that as well. I've been Will.
I'm Greg.
And we will see you in Sinnoh. So until then, have a good one.
Bye-bye.